What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about how the New England Patriots are meeting with two Alabama wide receivers, two guys that have a very, very good chance at actually being drafted by the Patriots in a couple of weeks here. With that being said, the Patriots are meeting with wide receiver John Metchie and wide receiver Slade Bolden. Now, I believe this is the first time that they're meeting with Slade Bolden, but this is the second time that they are meeting with John Metchie, which really proves that the Patriots are doing their due diligence on him. The Patriots have genuine interest here in John Metchie. And the reason that I'm specifically making a video on these two draft prospects, the fact that the Patriots are meeting with both of these guys, is one, because they're from Alabama. Bill Belichick loves his Alabama guys, has high connections to Nick Saban, guys from Alabama. Obviously, last year, their first two picks were guys from Alabama, Mac Jones and Christian Barmore. Not to mention the fact that both of these guys have a really good rapport already with Mac Jones. Now, PFF has John Metchie ranked as the 83rd best draft prospect in the 2022 draft, and he has an average draft projection of going around the 77th pick. So, from where I've seen him going in mock drafts is usually between rounds 2 to 3. Unfortunately, in my mock drafts, if I don't go ahead and select John Metchie in the second, he's not going to be there by the Patriots' third pick at 85. So while some say that going for John Metchie with the 54th overall pick in the second round is a little bit too soon, chances are that if this team waits and doesn't select him in the second round with pick 54 and they wait till pick 85 in the third round, very, very well could be missing out here on John Metchie. Now, if you guys have been around the channel for a couple of weeks here, I'm not incredibly high on the Patriots taking a wide receiver high, meaning rounds 1, 2, maybe even 3 in selecting a wide receiver after getting Devontae Parker, because he's signed under a multi-year contract and you have a lot of other weapons. But in this case, I would still take John Metchie in the second or third round because of the different dynamics that he would bring to the offense, but because of the connection he has with Mac Jones. I mean, you get somebody else like a Chris Olave, a Sky Moore, guys who you can say maybe have a higher ceiling and maybe more talented, but what you don't know is how they're going to be in this system, in the New England Patriots system, how they're going to build a repertoire with Mac Jones. John Metchie is going to play in a very similar offensive scheme that the Patriots have because he played in Alabama, and you already know that he has that connection with Mac Jones. I mean, John Metchie in that final year in Alabama, or Mac Jones' final year in Alabama, was Mac Jones' most consistent target when it came to the red zone. He's a really, really good route runner, one of the better route runners in this entire wide receiver draft class. He's also going to bring some speed to the Patriots offense. Also, all around, John Metchie would be just an excellent selection by the Patriots. Now, he was dealing with an ACL tear that he got I believe just last year, so he is still coming back from that. The question mark is going to be, is he going to be able to be ready for training camp or not? Experts are saying that if he is ready for training camp, he could be selected in the second round by teams. If he isn't ready for training camp, he very well could be a third or fourth round selection. Luckily enough for the Patriots, no matter where they draft him, you can really ease John Metchie into things. You don't have to rely on John Metchie for this 2022 season. You have so many other weapons that you can rely on. You already know that he's going to fit in your system. You already know he's going to have that rapport with Mac Jones. Ease him back for the 2023 season where he can make that genuine impact for you. Another thing that I really like about John Metchie is that he had an 81.5 grade versus man coverage, and over the last couple of seasons, these Patriots receivers, these Patriots weapons have really had a hard time getting open quick enough when it comes to press man coverage. John Metchie is a guy that will really be able to get open quick. He didn't play in a small college. He played for Alabama, one of the most competitive colleges when it comes to football. With that being said, you know that he will be able to get open quick, even when they're playing in press man coverage, which again will give Mac Jones that guy to go to in desperate times of need. I also like John Metchie's ability for contested catches. He had a 61.1% contested catch rate. And a lot of people don't talk about it because that's not really his game. That's not his repertoire to his game, but he more than has the ability to do so. Now, before we talk about Slade Bolden, who I'm very excited to talk about, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag. Guys, BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start to the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It is super easy to get started, so join today and learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all the popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts. But yes, the New England Patriots are also meeting with Alabama's Slade Bolden. Now, just like John Metchie, Mac Jones has a very, very good rapport with Slade Bolden. In fact, Slade Bolden was Mac Jones' best friend at Alabama. Through this draft process, if you follow Mac Jones on social media, he's actually been reposting some of Slade Bolden's stuff. Interesting fact, too, is that Slade Bolden and Mac Jones, while at Alabama, were roommates. Now, Slade Bolden is a guy the Patriots could easily get if they want to. PFF has him ranked as one of the last receivers on their chart. They have him as about a 6th to 7th round pick. They have him ranked as the 298th best draft prospect with an average draft projection of about 233. Not a big guy. He really brings that Julian Edelman type of build. 5'11", 193 pounds, 23 years old. Interestingly enough, he marks his game after Julian Edelman. That is his role model. That is the guy that he really tries to craft his game after. I also think it's really interesting that this past year he was working with Bill O'Brien, who used to be the former New England Patriots offensive coordinator, a guy who could still take up that role maybe even by next year. And Bill O'Brien used Slade Bolden in Alabama's offense last year in a Wes Welker type of role. Now, despite all the hype that is going around Slade Bolden, I think Patriots fans still need to honor their expectations. Whether he's a guy the Patriots end up drafting in the 6th or 7th round, or even if he goes as an undrafted free agent and the Patriots sign him there, it would be an absolute excellent signing by the Patriots, but that does not mean that you should expect big things from Slade Bolden. That doesn't mean he's going to be the Patriots' next big slot receiver. That doesn't mean he's going to be the next Julian Edelman or Wes Welker, but I think that he's going to have the best chance to succeed in the entire NFL, specifically with the Patriots and Mac Jones, than he would anywhere else. His stats in a lot of phases really aren't great. I mean, he's going to have to come into the NFL and that NFL transition, really work his butt off the way Julian Edelman did in order to be the type of wide receiver that you have to be to succeed in the National Football League. He's not going to be a guy that you're going to put out wide. He only had 52 snaps as an outside perimeter receiver in 2021, had 354 snaps as a slot receiver this past year. He had a PFF grade in 2021 of 58.4. He was targeted 57 times with 42 receptions on 408 yards, averaging 9.7 yards per reception and 3 touchdowns. If you want to look at 2020, that final year for Mac Jones, Slade Bolden appeared in a total of 12 games. He, again, mainly played in the slot. He had about 130 snaps there, as where he only had 32 snaps as a outside perimeter wide receiver, but he was targeted 29 times with 24 receptions on 264 yards, 11 yards per reception, and 1 touchdown. Receiving grade in 2021 wasn't great at all. 58.5. His yards per route run was only 1.3. Not good at all. He really didn't have a great contested catch rate either at 36.4%. Drop rate wasn't bad. He's a pretty good receiver, short-handed receiver. Only had a 4% drop rate. And his grade versus man coverage was 56.8. If you actually look on PFF's mock draft simulator, 41% of the time he's drafted to the Patriots. Again, in the 6th, 7th round, even UDFA pickups, which is where ideally I would love to see Slade Bolden, that's kind of where you're just taking a waiver on a guy. You're really just taking a chance to see if you can potentially get anything out of somebody, and that's exactly what you got to do here with Slade Bolden. He's not someone that should have expectations put on him, but he's somebody that could come in, be a developmental piece, and maybe within a couple of seasons, he could actually be a true starting slot receiver for the Patriots. But nonetheless, he's a guy that if the Patriots are going to draft anybody in the 6th or 7th round, my top guy is Slade Bolden. What are your guys' thoughts on the Patriots meeting with Slade Bolden and John Metchie from Alabama, though? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, though, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.